First and foremost, I would like to thank the good people of Rock Pool Publishing for sending over this beautiful deck for review. This deck was indeed a gift for the purposes of doing an honest review, and that's what we're going to do right now. I think the box is stunning. The deck is not out yet, but it is coming out any minute now. So underneath this video, I'm going to give you the link to where you will be able to purchase this new release. And one of the reasons why I'm really excited about this deck, let me show you real fast, is that about 15 years ago, I bought this one. And they're both by the same creator. And they're both about Buddha and Buddhism. Here you go. I'm trying to get that glare is serious today, right? There you go. And this one had 36 cards too. And I have used this a lot. So I'm very curious to see what are the similarities and the differences between these two decks. My name is QueenAusetHeru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and pass it to anyone and everyone who might like it too. Please drop us a positive comment in the comment section, and if you want to get your own reading done, a personal private one, please inbox me or hit me up on social media. I would love to do a reading for you. Underneath this video, first and foremost, I will put the link to where you can purchase this deck when it comes out. And I will also put underneath here my personal information and anything else you need to know, such as my Patreon, which is right now doing a very fun book club. Okay, let's get started. So the coolest thing, as always, finger holes. I always look for finger holes because I will always struggle if I don't have finger holes. This is the inside of the box, very ornate. Here we go. This is our guidebook. Let's check that out real fast. The guidebook is nice and hefty. Oh, it's color coordinated. Each card, oh, that is really pretty. I love the color coordination. They have some spreads in the front. I love that. I love the colors. The colors have me. I wonder, let me see. I was wondering if they were based on the rainbow, but they seem to be broken into sections. But yeah, see, each section has 12 cards. All right, cool. So that's going to come in handy when we're done. I'm going to show you. We're going to take a look at one card. This is the bottom of the box. And we're going to move that over there. Every rock pool deck has one of these. For those of you who've never seen it before. Alrighty then. Has some paper on it. Thank you, Rock Pool, for loving the environment. Paper instead of plastic. And we're going to take the very first card and just get a look at what are we dealing with here. So we're dealing with a beautiful picture on one side, and it's not that big. The other cards I mentioned before, they are bigger than this, but they're similar to this. Very similar. So if you have that other deck, you'll notice the similarities. They are not too thick, not too thin, glossy on one side, glossy on both sides. And this is our first one. So the cool thing about this is that there's a beautiful artwork on it, but there's a very important message on each one. So I'm not going to read every message, but I will have it close enough that if you're interested, you can stop it and read it. Now, one of the things you're going to notice, like I said before, is there's two sides. Let me get this. All right. There's two sides of it. So we'll look at the pretty artwork. And all the art seems to be different depictions of Buddha. And then there is the information. Oh, yes. And just like the other one, the guidebook has more. Like the guidebook will cover all of this, and then there'll be more. And each one is numbered, so they should be easy to find in the book. And then, of course, they're color coordinated, as we saw before. So you'll know which section it belongs in. Praise and blame. Beautiful. And each is different. So you're getting different artwork on each one, and then you're getting the words on the other side. And you see there's a quote here. So there's a quote here from someone on each one, a different quote. Let's see. Beautiful. There's a quote, and then underneath the quote, this is from the Buddha. So it's a quote from Buddha, and then it goes in deeper. And so this is cool because for those of you who don't really want to deal with the guidebook, now you guys know me. I always recommend reading and using the guidebook. But there's always people who don't want to. They either want to use it quickly in a reading, or they want to use it quickly for themselves, whatever the case is. So they don't necessarily want to. This is one of those decks where you don't have to. I would recommend it, but it's not required. These are great for a daily pull. If you just want to get some quick wisdom before you're going out the house, or before you're getting ready to start work, if you work from home, or if you just want to get, like maybe you've had a hard day, or maybe before bed. Sometimes before bed, I'll pull a card, just to see what I want to ponder on as I fall asleep. So they would be great for the daily pull. They would also be great for altar work. They're big enough to use on your altar. And I like using glossy cards on the altar because a lot of people use ashes or water on their altar. So if you got a little bit on it, it wouldn't be difficult to get ash off of these with a baby wipe. And if a little bit of water spilled on it, it probably wouldn't be the end of the world. I wouldn't make a habit of it. But I think that these are the kinds of cards that can withstand a little bit, more so than some of the ones that are more papery. That glossiness is kind of like a protectant. If you're very careful, these will last you. I'm going to show you when we're done one of my other cards so you can see how those have lasted me. I bought them it has to be at least 15 years now. At least. And I'll show you how they've held up. These cards, I think, will hold up about the same. I love the fact that they were conscientious enough to put a different picture on each card. The other deck, they did that too. So what is the difference between these two decks? It looks like to me, first of all, you're going to see the art is totally different. The artist is completely different. The size is different. These are smaller. So for someone who has smaller hands, if the other deck was difficult to handle, this one will be much easier. Whoa. It's a similar theme though, as far as, the Buddhism aspect of it. But I don't know if all of the concepts are similar. They seem to, if you're dealing with Buddhism, you're going to get a lot of the same concepts, but it looks like they took it from a different angle. And I don't remember there being a quote in the other deck. So they added that definitely. So like I said before, yes, you could use these for altar work. And you could do a full reading with these. You could do a 3-card spread with these, 5-card spread, a Celtic cross with these. You very easily could do a full reading with these. And you also, because you don't have the guidebook with them, you also could use these with the tarot reading. You could end the tarot reading. Whenever I do tarot readings and I have time, which I usually do, I always add in oracle cards at the end. So these would be perfect for that. You also could just do one. Sometimes I'll just do one card. And these are great for that because I can send my client a picture of the card, with or without the information from the guidebook. It just depends on if the person wants more information or less information. And this is something they can keep in their phone and then they can ponder it. So that's good too. So it's a lot of different uses for this deck. I'll tell you how I used the other one in the past because I feel like it's a similar vibration. In the past with the other one, I used that deck in conjunction with my Kuan Yin deck. So I used it a lot when I needed to really reflect on my behavior, reflect on where I was at. It's a very, for me, it's a very internal deck. I don't think, I'm pretty sure. Oh, look at this. I've used them mostly with myself. Isn't that cool? There's gold edges, metallic gold edges. I love that. So yeah, I mostly use these types of deck, the Buddhism, the Kuan Yin decks. Even though I can do readings with them, I have a tendency to use these for myself. These are very introspective decks for me. Oh, look at that. Pretty. Isn't that beautiful? Beautiful. Aging. A gift that not all of us receive. Beautiful. Sickness. So it seems like the blueness, I feel like, is dealing with different, these topics seem to be a little heavier, the blue section. Let's see. Yeah, death. Yeah. Seems like these are some of the heavier topics that we all have to deal with. I've been reading about Stoicism. I am just crazy about Marcus Aurelius right now. And the Stoics often talk about death and accepting things as they are, which I like a lot. And there are a lot of commonalities between Stoicism and Buddhism. So I'm finding it to be interesting to see all of these connections. Okay. As you can see, as when I mentioned before, there is a number. Ooh, there we go. There's a number at the top of each one. It has this illustration around it. I like that as well. And it tells you what section each of these are in too. So you don't have to, I mean, the color already gives it away, and it's color coded in the book too. Very, very, very precise in that way. Do no harm. Ashe. Beautiful. There you go. Ooh. I like how colorful they are. The other one is colorful like this too. I like that. I'm a color person. Pinks and reds and black are my favorites, but I love color. No sensuous misconduct. Whew, that's an important one, especially. I love how a lot of these are universal. Like you see these problems in every time period, you know? I love that. And this is our last one. So I'm going to take this one, I'm going to flip it over so you can read about the clouded mind. And then I'm going to go to the guidebook and we're going to look it up. And we're going to see, oh, here's our author. Back of the guidebook. It's our author right there. All the information about her. All right, it's 2 pages on her, and we're going to take a look at the clouded mind. So here is the clouded mind. Remember I said there's more? So there's everything that you see on the back of the card, but then there's a lot more. There's reflection, there's action. And that's why I was saying before, I always see these as being like introspective for me. So let's see what it says. It says, clouded mind. Surrounded by craving, you run around like frightened hares. The wise dispels craving and seeks freedom from addiction. Words of the Buddha. So this is about how intoxicants and pain and trauma can cloud the mind. And then it tells you to reflect. The reflection for me looks like a journal entry. I probably would journal the answer to these questions. And then the action says, if the wounded self is not you, all the false aspects belonging to the wounded self you have been carrying can be unburdened. Name those things you will let go of. Again, I would use this definitely for journaling. So this is pretty cool. Again, I like that. All right, and before we get going, let me show you how the other deck I bought from the same creator has held up over the past millennia since I got it. You saw the box. Let's just see the cards. And it is very similar. Here's a guidebook. I'm going to show you real quick. Very similar. And they do have a quote at the top. So the quote repeats. And the same thing, reflection and action. But the cards, I'm going to show you a little bit of the art. The cards, see, the art is very different. Beautiful. They're both beautiful, but it's very different, as you can see. And you see the guidebook is held up. Let me show you how the cards are held up. I'll just take one. So as you can see, beautiful. Isn't that beautiful? I love the art. And look how they've held up. I've been using these for 15 years. Used them on my altar. Used them to do readings. I'll show you another one. And they have held up splendidly. As you can see, the edges, you can see a little bit that I've shuffled them around the edges, but they've held up splendidly. Let me take one of the other ones so I can compare the two in size. Let's see. We'll take that same clouded one we just finished with, and we'll see. See? The size is much different, but similar concept. So again, smaller hands would probably be able to use this one better. I can shuffle these without problem though. And as you can see, very different card. The images, very different illustrations. Both beautiful, but very different. So that is my review of the Buddha Dhamma Oracle. So please be on the lookout. It will be out sometime very soon. It's one of the new releases on the Rockpool website. So if you want to take a look, hit the link below and you can see exactly when it's coming out in case you want to put in an order. Thank you for being here, and you come back soon because I got a lot more to say. See you later.